So today we're going to be discussing strategic planning for marketing. But before we get into that discussion, wanted to review the calendar of upcoming events. We're currently in week 5. We'll be working on module 2 again. Some things that will be due for the next class session, which our next class session will be week 7. Week 6, President's Day, so there's no class. So there are going to be several assignments due, starting with the reflection. And I'll go over these a little bit more in detail. So make sure you're paying attention to the post work in your tracking calendar so that you don't get too far behind. Alright, so for the reflection assignment, that's module 2. It's due on February 21st, and you can see that in the assignment area of module 2. I have this, a screenshot of how to get to it. So you go to module 2, click on assignments, and you'll see all the assignments due. Now, a couple of things that are in module 2 that one was in module 1, the knowledge check. You need to make sure that you complete that knowledge check before the due date, because if you don't complete it by the due date, it like gets wiped off or removed from the assignments area. I did put module 1 assignment knowledge check for the people that didn't turn it in by last week. Module 1 knowledge check is available until 11:59 p.m. this evening. So if you don't do it by 11:59 p.m. this evening, I'm not going to put it back out there. It sounds like we might have a question. So moving on to the reflection assignment itself, it should be at least 100 words, and you're going to be describing how external and internal factors affect product marketing. This is the rubric for that assignment. You can also see this rubric in the portfolio project directions and rubric document, which is in module 1. So always pay attention to this, not just in this class, but in all your other classes, because it'll give you an idea of how the grade is distributed across the certain things. All right, so in addition to module 2 assignments, we're going to start working in module 3 as well. In that project, the project that's due for that's also due on February 21st, and you can get to that by going to module 3 into the assignments area, and then I have everything pointed, everything that you need to do before February 21st. There's a yellow arrow here. Now as far as the module 3 project, the product, this is the first part of your portfolio project, and the whole portfolio project is worth 20% of your grade, so it's very important that you do each project when it's due. And this is kind of what the project is over, and these instructions are also located in the portfolio project directions. Here's kind of a sample of what's expected, what I'm expecting to see when you turn the project in. You have your products, the company name, and the features, the benefits, the intended use for the product, and any type of needs or wants that will be met from the product. So you can use this template as a way, to turn it in, or to at least outline what you want to type. The module 3 check-in, a minimum of 50 words, and it kind of reflects, gives a reflection on just sharing some feedback. You get to share feedback after every class with your journal entry, but this is also a way for you to share some feedback. You just summarize how you think you're progressing through the course so far, and state any expectations you have moving forward as far as any type of lessons that you would like to learn more about, if they're not included in the tracking calendar or in any of the modules. If there's anything else you would like to discuss or learn about in this class, you put that in this assignment. So in addition to the recorded lectures that are available after the class, I'm also starting to put the PowerPoint slides into Blackboard. So we're going to go into Blackboard. I'm going to show you how to get to it through Blackboard. Alright, so if you go into the class, you go into modules, and module 2, and it'll be the first thing in module 2 once you click on it. Click on week 5 PowerPoint slides, strategic planning. Surely. Alright, so it's opening, and you see it's pretty much the same thing that I'm reviewing right now. So this is to the recorded lectures that I send out to you after each class. Alright, we're going to start discussing strategic planning for marketing. During the last class session we discussed the basic terminology that marketers use and are equipped with when starting off in the marketing field. As we begin the week 5 discussion, we began developing our understanding of strategic planning in the marketing environment. First thing that we're going to dive into is the development of a successful marketing strategy. Now, before we begin planning any sort of marketing strategy, it's always important to assess the overall direction and the position of the company that we're doing a marketing strategy for. We can do this by answering 2 questions about the organization. The first question is, where's the company currently? To answer this question, we start to identify the company's competencies, their customers, as well as the competitive environment. The core competencies are what a company does best, or what special skills they have. When a company possesses a very distinctive core competency, there's a competitive advantage that is created. This competitive advantage is something that's unique, and that's a rare strength that the company has over another competitor, which will allow the company to be able to be in a more superior position. After we discuss where the company currently is, we need to identify who the customers are, what the customers want or what they might need, and what we will provide for them that will provide value. And then finally, we need to determine who the current or possible future competitors are. So it's always good to know who your competitors are right now as well as, try to think down the line what other companies or competitors will try to get into your market. So once we determine all those things, we need to find out where does the company go from there. Because the end goal for any company is to grow its business and to make a profit. So when we correctly identify where the company is currently, we can decide how we want to grow that company. And one technique that a lot of marketing companies or a lot of organizations use is the business portfolio analysis. So in short, it's called the business portfolio analysis, but it's also called the growth share matrix. Now this matrix that you see on the screen, it has 4 quadrants, and this matrix is also known as the BGC matrix. You might hear me say this throughout the semester. I might call it BCG or Boston Consulting Group matrix. Now this technique revolves around this matrix or the framework that evaluates the company, the position of a business's brand portfolio as well as its future potential. The matrix was built upon 2 different axes. The y-axis, which is right here, that represents the market growth. The x-axis represents the market share. Now the market growth rate is the percent the business will grow each year. Relative unit market share can be defined as how much of the market the business has over a leading competitor. So this diagram displays market growth and market share, as you can see. There are 4 different quadrants, as I stated before in the diagram, and the quadrants represent how much cash each business unit or brand in the company will generate. So if you see in this top right hand corner where it says low, so you have a high market growth but it's low market share. This is called the question mark, and these brands, the question mark brands or the business unit have a very low market share but high market growth. To maintain or grow the units, the company has to invest a lot of money into these. So they call these the question marks. You put all your question mark products in the top right hand corner of the quadrant. The stars, which is in the top left hand corner, these brands or business units have a high market share. So it's high market share and a high market growth. These products are doing very well and are growing rapidly. So businesses may need to put extra cash into the units that are in the star quadrant to keep up with the quick growth. In the bottom left hand corner, you have the cash cows. Now these products are the ones that have a low market share, or low market growth. Yeah, low market growth and a high market share. They generate a lot of money, but they don't use it because future opportunities are limited. So a lot of the money that possibly comes from the cash flow will filter into the stars and the question marks. Now the dogs have the low market share as well as the low market growth, and these brands generate just enough cash to sustain themselves, but they don't really grow. They're just making money and they just sustain. They're able to continue. All right, so if we use Samsung as an example to review the BGC matrix, you see in the top left-hand corner the stars. So for Samsung, their Galaxy cell phones and their LED and smart TVs, those are the ones that have a high market share and high market growth. The cash cows for Samsung, the ones that generate a lot of money but don't have a lot of market growth, are like their air conditioners, their refrigerators, washing machines, and any other type of cooking appliances. Their question mark, which I don't think I've ever seen a printer, a Samsung printer, but the question mark, again, it's a very low market share, and that's probably why I've never seen it, because they have very low market share, but there's a potential for high market growth. And then the dogs, which pretty much are products that just sustain themselves, are smartwatches. That's another thing I don't think I've ever seen, a Samsung smartwatch, but they have a very low market share and very low market growth. So that's probably why I've never seen, or don't recall ever seeing, a Samsung market smartwatch. All right, so the next thing we're going to start discussing is the planning phase for marketing. In the planning phase, we conduct something called the SWOT Analysis, which is an acronym for the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This analysis provides us with an external and an internal analysis of the organization itself, current and prospective customers, an organization's competition, and any type of trends in the industry that organization is in. So the first thing we're going to discuss is the internal part of the SWOT analysis, which includes the strengths and the weaknesses. The strengths are the attributes of an organization that are helpful to them achieving their objective. The characteristics are what give a business an edge over their competitors. So any characteristic that's considered a strength, that gives them an edge. Might not be a competitive edge, but it's a edge over its competitor. The weakness is internal attribute that would hurt the company from achieving whatever goal they have. These attributes put the company at a disadvantage. Some examples of strengths and weaknesses include human resources and staffing of organization, the physical resources a company possess, the company finances, which is a huge thing because you need money to be able to do things, whether it's hiring new employees or purchasing a product or doing market research. You need money and past experiences that the customer has had. So any type of reviews, good or bad, that can be considered a strength or a weakness. Now, as far as the external factors, that would be opportunities and threats. Opportunities are attributes of the business environment that helps the company achieve their objectives. Threats are external attributes that hurt the company from achieving whatever objectives they have. Some examples of opportunities and threats include trends in the industry, the state of the economy, the local economy, the state economy, the federal economy, or the country's economy, or the world economy, changing demographics of their customer base, any type of laws or regulations that are on the industry that they're operating in, or any other events that may be occurring locally, nationally, or internationally. So here's the SWOT analysis for Ben & Jerry's. You'll be using this to do your group project, so I won't go over this too much, but just notice that you have your internal factors, your external factors. You see here the favorables are strengths and opportunities. The unfavorables are the weaknesses and the threats. So I'll let you read through this and you work on this with your group to answer the questions. Reminder that your answers to these questions for your group project is due by the end of the class session. Make sure that you don't lose any points by not putting the correct heading in or by having the minimum amount of words that are expected for each question that's being asked in the project. So just to review, for the heading for the heading for the group project is you want to make sure you put your group number, any members that are in attendance, the date, the case name, and when we get back together, once you finish answering your questions, each group will have someone presenting their answers. Now, it's not going to be the same person every week because I want everybody to get a chance to have the opportunity to discuss their group's answers. But make sure you put who's the person that's presenting. And make sure that you email these projects to me so that you can get credit for them. All right, so if we don't have any questions, we're going to do a quick knowledge check. And again, with the knowledge checks, those are due Sunday, the Sunday before the next class. But because we don't have a class next week, it'll be due, the knowledge check for this, for Module 2, will be due on next Sunday, which is the 14th. And to get to the knowledge check, we'll go to the module. Module 2, since that's going to be due on the 14th. Assignments. And you see here, after downloading the file and answering the questions, you need to upload, or you might have to email the document to me. But just make sure I have that document to me by 11:59 p.m. on February 14th, 2021. I would recommend you do this knowledge check here. You go into the module and there's knowledge checks with the same questions in the module in the lectures. So to get to that, you're going to go into Module 2. And if you click on Lecture, Strategic Planning for Marketing, these are pretty much the same questions that are in the check. The only difference is, though these aren't really graded, the knowledge check that you hand in from that document will be graded. So you'll get immediate feedback once you answer the questions. And the purpose that I have you do it multiple times is kind of to give you an opportunity to learn it. The more you do things, or the more I do things, the better I learn it, and the more I retain. So that's the reason why we do it here. You're also expected to do it in Blackboard, as well as, hand in the assignment once you complete it.